Hello everybody and welcome to my regular look at the S&P 500. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to take a look at the sentiment and the technicals to see where that price could be heading next. Now today is Labor Day in the US, so it's a quiet start to the week. Themes from last week still pretty much the same. You know, the interest rates, global economic concerns around demand in China, US, that same sort of, theme as I said. So that leads us better into the technicals to try and translate what's going on in the market at the moment. So with that, let's head straight into what's been going on this morning. Like I said, it's a quiet start today with the US out, but there has been a little bit of action. As you can see there is today's price action. You could say it's up slightly, just pulling off a bit. Point of control around 4529, 4530, and just trading under that around 4526 3/4. So today's going to be pretty flat and quiet, maybe the odd spike here or there in the price, but the momentum will build up towards the end of the day for the start of trading on Tuesday. So let's dig into some background information, sentiment stuff around the S&P. First of all, down the bottom there, we've got seasonality, still pretty much unchanged at the moment. It's, as you can see on the bottom right there, just maybe a bit weak, flat, and then for the rest of September it goes into October as well, a bit weak still, and then we have that lovely run up, like I keep mentioning, in through January, February of the new year, often known as the Santa rally when we get into December, and we'll cover that off more nearer at the time. So at the moment, bit neutral, weak bearish on the seasonality at this time of year. Above that, commitment of traders. This is the large speculators commitment of traders data from the CFTC out every Friday. Great one to follow if you want to see what the professionals are doing. And at the moment, you can see they were building their long positions in the S&P, but of late, last few weeks, maybe a bit of a stalemate, flattening, selling off, going a bit shorter there. So like I said, it's a good guide to see what's going on in that market, and you can see how that's correlated to the price. Normally the large speculators would follow the price quite closely, and that's their job to get it right. At the moment, we've got the price coming up, positions coming down, so a bit of a divergence in there at the moment, maybe a slowing down of that recent good week or so that we've had on the S&P so far. And this is the key one for me, the VIX index. Gives a lot away about what's going on in terms of price action. If you see at the bottom there, that's the S&P 500, and we've got that price rising. I'm using the E-mini futures contract, by the way. That's ticker ES, and the front month is 1ES1. Above that is the VIX, and we see the inverse relationship in play. So we can see there, vol down, price up, and it's going to be vice versa. So at the moment, you could say, that is a bullish setup at the moment. That's a daily chart we're looking at. So in the longer term, looking quite bullish still at the moment in terms of the VIX and what's going on with the S&P price. But if we zoom that in a bit, let's go down to the 1 hour chart. Let's just remove the drawings off there and there, make it a bit clearer what's going on this morning. These live prices still looking reasonably bullish at the moment. You can see the price, let's draw that on, moving on up there as the volatility comes down. So still looking pretty good in terms of where the volatility is heading for a bullishness play on the S&P, and some sentiment around moving averages and stocks trading above or below them. Top left, 50-day moving average. You can see again the increase in stocks trading above the 50, and then on the right it's the 200 moving average, and again more trading above the 200. So both bullish. And at the bottom, New York Stock Exchange 52-week highs. Obviously, if they start picking up, the more of them, then we can sort of speculate that, you know, there's more of a bullish feel to the market. So all round on the sentiment front, we've got to say, you know, reasonably bullish, maybe weak bullish. Maybe September's going to be a good month for the S&P 500. So let's dive into some pure technical analysis. Here we've got weekly charts, so a real long-term view. You can see going back to 2016. I've picked this trend from April 2020 up to today. Let's just draw on some regression channels. If that comes up, there we go. You can see how it's been behaving. That's a 2 standard deviation regression trend band there, and it's been bouncing nicely in and out of that, right in the middle at the moment. So we've got space either side for the trend to move into. Downside, 2 standard deviations, talking 3,800, 3,750 down there. At the top wise, we're talking more around 5,250, which would be quite a move if it does happen right into there. And above that, and you know, the Fibonacci's on that trend, you got 5,500. So, you know, there is some good upside still to be had there if that, you know, trend continues. At the moment, if it fails, then I think we've got support around 4,250. That's, remember, a longer term look at the price action. It breaks from there, utilize these Fibonacci's in line with that 2 standard deviation regression channel, and it's coming up with the 3,800 sort of area, and then below that again 3,500 and then 3,200. But let's stay positive with that, you know, sentiment we looked at. First up stop 4,800s, and then, like I said, around 5,250 in this sort of zone. Let's head into the line break chart. I like to use this one for reversals. Today I've gone a bit further back to see what's going on in the trend there. I use a 4 line break chart with a 2 bar reversal, so not 4 and 4, 4 and 2. And at the moment we've got this nice reversal in play. You'd have bought in, on my rules, around about 4,450. It's on the way up at the moment. To get back in down to the south, you know, bearish side, again, it's going to be around about this level here, which is 4,420, 4,425 for a further downside move in the longer run. And if you do use the line break chart, remember you can change around the time frames to get into different reversals in the price. You know, a useful tool to help your timing. And then into my favorite charts, the Renko. Let's look in the medium term what's been going on. I've added volume at price to Renko, which some might not use. I think I've got a video on the channel about that, how you can use volume in Renko, because remember, it's price based, not time based. So seeing it by price can be a useful guide. As you can see on the chart here in the medium term, you got this really big spike here where you can see a load of the price action hovering through that point of control around 4,150. In this medium term chart, Renko, I'm using a $20 block size, as you can see up the top there, and it's been a nice uptrend. But I would say in that block there, going from mid-July, it's been a bit more of a sideways range, but we have got this double bottom pattern building up, which, if we're using the rules of technical analysis, we could expect it to get into this zone, which is at that 4,750, 4,800 line we saw on a longer term weekly chart. So like I said, some good upside there. Got to get through those highs, that double top high there, and then in the medium term 4,850 is the target after it breaks there. Downside wise, we've got a bit of a pullback zone for 450. As you can see here, we've got a lot of volume there. Then we've got this nice curved gap, which could see the price fall quite quickly down to, you've got a few Fibonacci levels there though, at 4,300, 4,200, and then that 38.2 line where the point of control is. That's the key number, 4,150. So above that, I'd say it's probably bullish. Below it, into this space, we're talking more bearish. So at the moment, we've got a bullish outlook. And then zooming in on the real short term, just taking over sort of last month's trading, same sort of setup with the volume, Fibonacci's and stochastics at the bottom. Stochastics at the bottom showing us we're reasonably bullish at the moment in terms of signals. We've got this run up from the 25th of August. It's right at the point of control. We've got a lot of price action noise around this level, the 4,520s. Downside shorter term, we first stop 4,490, let's say, then 4,450, 4,455, and then 4,400, 4,410. Upsides if it can hold around here, and like I said, they've got that volume gap back up to here, which takes you to the 4,600 zone, but we'd have to first of all get through the 4,550, 4,560 mark before we can push on up. So the summary of that lot is that it still looks reasonably short, medium term bullish on the technical analysis, and that is sort of backed up by the sentiment indicators that we've looked at. Possible divergence there building on the COT, which is something to look out for, but other than that, it's not looking too bad for September as a positive start to the month. Be interesting to see how it plays out. Not too much economic news this week to jolt it around. I think we've got some PMI numbers out later in the week. Got a couple of interest rate decisions from Australia and Canada that may sort of weight things a bit, but I'm not too sure on that one. I think maybe it's going to take its own course, ignore that information until some more key economic data comes out. But looking at the technicals at the moment, I'm going to go for sort of a weak bullish outlook in the short term. So there you go. That's my quick look at the S&P 500. If you want some more analysis, I'm back in a few hours time, 3:30 UK time, which I think is about 10:30 Eastern time, where I'm going to take a look at the technicals for gold and silver. So I hope you can join me there, and I look forward to seeing you soon.